Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or whenever the hell you're listening to this. I'm your host, Johnny Dogs. The news desk is Irene Maiden, and on the controls as usual is Jimmy Dogs. Well, as you can tell, we're in a moving vehicle, but we'll get a little bit on that later. You know, it's right now we're kind of moving and watching traffic. But as usual, we have our human stupidity in the news, the lost classics of hard rock and heavy metal, and some other things planned for today. But, well, we need to get where we're going, so we'll be right back after this tune.
Leather,
All right. That was Leatherbound by Bitch off their 1983 album Be My Slave. If you don't have the album, or if you've not heard of Bitch, they came out in the 82, 83. They were around for a little bit, and then they didn't get taken serious because in the beginning, because back in the early days, most of the female metal bands were, like I said before, I've talked about it before, they were considered a novelty act. And like I said before, Lita Ford didn't help them out on that when she started doing that MTV shit. But like I said, we're driving and we really don't want to get upset and start crashing. At least not here. Matter of fact, we don't want nobody to know we're here, but we'll get to that later. But Bitch, Be My Slave from 1983. It's a good album to get, good album to have. If you're a metal collector, it's definitely something you should have in your collection as usual. You don't have it, go to a record store or however, Spotify, whatever, you know how to get your stuff. But I like the old school way of getting a record, CD from a record store, and having the physical copy just in case my phone or anything else fucks up. I at least still have it and can put it back on my shit. But that's just me. But again, the album was Be My Slave by Bitch from 1983. Check it out. You'll like it. It's a very good album. It's a lot heavier than that song. It ranges between power metal, speed metal, and just regular metal. So check it out. While I'm keeping my eyes on the road, we're going to attempt to do a news desk.
Good evening. This is Irene Maiden at your news desk. As always, human stupidity runs wild. Let's get started. A Florida man was arrested after telling police that his name was Captain Dickhead. Police responding to a 1:45 a.m. disturbance at a residence in Sebastian encountered a woman who apologized for arguing loudly with her boyfriend in the home's backyard. When asked multiple times to identify himself, the boyfriend refused and was being evasive and argumentative with officers at the scene. After cops handcuffed the man, they took one more shot at extracting a name from him. At which time he said his name was Captain Dickhead, an officer reported. He was arrested on a misdemeanor obstruction charge. After 8 hours in custody, Captain Dickhead was released from jail on his own recognizance. Now, I understand joking around. Hell, all Irene has been known to be a prankster, every now and then. However, most law enforcement officers usually don't joke around. Captain Dickhead just didn't realize this. Plus, he was drunk. I'm sure Queen Cunt just didn't inform the police about that. Poor chap. If you inform law enforcement, your name is Captain Dickhead, you are going to end up arrested. All law enforcement officers are all looking to arrest Captain Dickhead. Trust me, Captain Dickhead is like Negan, and there's a lot of them. My dumbass husband was arguing with a cop over a speeding ticket. When the officer asked for my man's name, he said, "Call me Captain Dickhead." The officer then arrested him. After proving to the police my husband's name wasn't really that, they let me post his bail and get him out. That's when I realized this Captain Dickhead must be the most wanted motherfucker on the planet, and cops will arrest anyone who claims to be him. I assume they have to be sure it's really him, because they must really want the credit for busting the real Captain Dickhead, and not some bloody imposter. I tried to look up more information on this Captain Dickhead on Google, but all I got were pictures of my husband and Johnny Dogs. I think my bloody computer is messed up. Now back to our host, who I'm not sure, but might be the real Captain Dickhead. Johnny Dogs.
Well, the cautionary tale is that, don't be Captain Dickhead. As you can see, we've come to a stop. We've made our destination and we're parked. So we can, speculate a little bit, I'm not sure what the story with Captain Dickhead is, or why somebody would want to tell the police that his name is Captain Dickhead. Because apparently everybody who's told police that their name is Captain Dickhead has been arrested. And, according to Irene, Captain Dickhead must be a very wanted man, and I'm thinking probably the same thing too. Don't tell the cops you're Captain Dickhead, because they're looking for Captain Dickhead. Apparently, Captain Dickhead is a very wanted man, and anybody who says they're Captain Dickhead is probably going to end up getting arrested to make sure that, you know, you're the real Captain Dickhead, because apparently capturing Captain Dickhead is a very big priority. He must be public enemy number one. Would you think so, Jimmy? Yeah, well, usually I'd ask Irene, but she's safe at the office recording her stuff down there because she didn't want to be here. Yeah, well, we know why, but they don't. So, you know, but I was just saying. Well, don't be Captain Dickhead. Just it's probably better for you to just whip out your ID and show that you're not Captain Dickhead, because, like I said, they're looking for his ass. So, and he must be a real bad dude, because they're arresting anybody named Captain Dickhead. So, yeah. I guess the moral would be, don't be Captain Dickhead. So while you work on that, we're going to kick out this tune.
The Travers Band! Set a whisker! Drink a gold can!
All right. That was Pat Travers, snorting whiskey, drinking cocaine from Live at the Diamond, 1990. I have the album, CD. It's pretty good. Pat Travers was heavy blues rock, but hard rock, heavy blues, I guess. So, it's something you should have for your album. He's really good, has a lot of heavy stuff, especially the show that he did at the Diamond in 1990 was really good. If you like heavy guitar-laced rock, blues, that's, real hard, it's the band to listen to, the guy. But he's also a good blues player, too. But, yeah, most of the stuff he does is pretty heavy, and you dig it. And, hold on one sec, Jimmy. I got it. Just give me a second. Like I was saying, Live at the Diamond, 1990, Pat Travers. Definitely something we want to look into. It's a good album, like I said. It's hard, heavy blues, rock, hard rock. I mean, it's an album you should have. It's an album I have in my collection. And again, it's an album you should have in yours. Now, I know what you're wondering. What did you just hear? Well, we're at a stop at the moment, just looking around. And we would, it's, looks nice in here, doesn't it, Jimmy? Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is, basically ghetto etiquette. As I told you before, we lived on the violent east side of Indianapolis, and, we're just giving you some tips on how to survive out in the violent east side of Indianapolis. And, excuse me. Yeah. Got on her, look around. There's nobody. Okay. But like I was saying, we're going to do some things, on a ghetto etiquette. And the second part of ghetto etiquette is not to brag about how much money you have from the tax man, where you're going, and how long you're going to be gone. As a certain friend of the show's, she's not here, so she can't be implicated. I know. But overheard a friend talking. What kind of friend, I don't know. But, that they got their taxes and they're got some nice stuff, apparently. You can see that. Move that over, Jimmy. Let's take a look at that. See what I mean? Move some other stuff around for a minute. Okay. Well, that doesn't look too bad. But, idea when you come to the ghetto, you don't sit there and tell people how much you get from Uncle Sam or how much money you have. You definitely don't brag about that. Look at that TV set, man. That's what I'm talking about. And I need a couple of those. So, yeah. But you don't brag about the new shit you have, how expensive it is. And you don't brag real loudly in the ghetto about a fancy vacation that you're going on and how long you're not going to be home and how your neighbor is going with you, so that we know that, well, this house and the house next to us are empty. But we didn't record in the first house, so, that job's already done, so we're here for the second one. But that's another story, and that's not really anything we really need to cover on the show. Ooh, did you see that? Yeah, I know. Well, while we collect a few goodies and things like that, we just want you to know the moral of the story is that if you live in the ghetto, you have friends in the ghettos or anything like that, you keep your fucking mouth shut about anything. If they say they're broke, you say you're broker. Because if you tell them you're not broke, they're going to find out where you live, like we did here in this wonderful house, which is definitely better than ours, but we'll see about that when we get done. And, you don't brag about how much money you're spending and where you're going and when you're not going to be home. Good God, so opportunity arises. And that's what happens when you live in the ghetto. You know, when you brag about stuff, that you have cool stuff, and people find out, well, you know, they come and visit like we do. Checking this stuff out and stuff like that. And, you know, we're not being hassled by the homeowners or anything. You know, then they definitely don't have a dog because they told us. So, you know, wow, looks really good in here. And while we collect some things and you gather your thoughts on that ghetto etiquette, we're going to play you this tune. Yeah, Jimmy, grab that.
When you're high on rock and roll
Well, alrighty. As you can see, we are now in the car. Doesn't take that long to take shit. Trust me. But that's the ghetto etiquette. But if you were wondering what that tune was, that was I Like to Rock by April Wine from Live at the Hammersmith Odeon, 1981. It's a good album. It's a good CD. It was a good show, but I'm not really sure I could really say that because it was actually 2 shows, 2 nights, and then they just put it all together for Live at the Hammersmith Odeon 1981. So, yeah. But April Wine, everybody knows pretty much. Anybody who listens to hard rock, classic hard rock stuff knows who April Wine is, knows how heavy they are, and how well they were. They were a good band. Very heavy for the 70s and the 80s. They were just constantly heavy from when they started and when they ended. But if you would like to see what they're like live, well, get the album, and it'll probably turn you on to some of their other stuff, and you'll probably end up collecting some of their albums. I have some April Wine in my collection. I like April Wine. I think you will too. So you should definitely run to your record store, Spotify, or whatever. Just look it up. April Wine. Live at the Hammersmith Odeon, 1981. And check it out. However you get your music. Legal or illegal, yeah. But I hope you get it legal, and I hope you buy a physical copy at a record store, because I'm sure they have it. Well, while we make our getaway, we're going to turn things over to the news desk.
An IHOP manager was left bloodied after he was attacked by rowdy female patrons who threw punches, chairs, and plates at him, according to Tennessee police. According to reports, the melee happened at an IHOP restaurant in Memphis. After the manager asked the group to please keep it down. The manager told cops that when the diners started to get louder, he asked the suspects to leave. The diners departed the IHOP but kept coming in and out of the business, taunting him. He eventually called 911, but before police arrived, he was attacked by one of the suspects. After the manager bodyslammed the woman who he was fighting, another woman launched a chair at him. He responded by throwing the chair back at the woman, knocking her to the ground. Further chair tossing followed before the attackers finally left the restaurant. The IHOP manager was later transported to a local hospital for treatment of his injuries. He told officers that one of the reasons why the suspects got so upset was because he kept calling them sirs, even though the suspects were dressed like ladies. Memphis police have not made any arrests in connection with the incident, which has been classified as a felony aggravated assault. Dumbass motherfucker. What did this asshole think was going to happen? First of all, when my sisters are out on the town, having a little fun, they're going to get rowdy. Secondly, my sisters might get a little loud, but they don't fuck with anyone. So, for a fucking manager to come up and tell my sisters to keep it down isn't cool. Then, to disrespect them by calling them sirs, when you fucking well know they were women. If that would have been me with my sisters, all Irene would have straight up fucked you up. What I would have done was worse than what this manager got. That punk bitch motherfucker would have had to learn how to eat solid foods all over again. Stupid punk bitch, that's what you get. You disrespect any of Irene's sisters out there, and we will fuck your day up, straight up ghetto style. Now, back to our host, who always knows the difference between a man and a woman. Johnny Dogs.
And that's why I don't eat at no motherfucking IHOP. I don't eat at Waffle House either. You know, the people at Waffle House don't have barbecue sauce. We covered that last week, though, because they're dumbasses. And, well, you can't have a good time at a IHOP because, well, their managers get, you know, pissy. You know, if you're out having a good time with your, you know, friends, or if you're a girl and you're having a good time with your girlfriends and you're blowing off steam because you've worked all day, yeah, you deserve to be a little rowdy. You deserve to be a little loud, have some fun, because you've worked your ass off all day for it. And You know, you don't need some dickhead manager saying, hey, please keep the noise down. Are they bothering anybody? No, they're not. They're not throwing shit. They weren't throwing shit. They weren't bothering anybody. They were just having fun by themselves. You know? And if they're loud, so what? It means they're having fun. They're blowing off steam from work. And then, you know, no problem with that. But then you get a manager, you know, hey, you're having too much fun. Keep it down. You know, fuck you. You know, that, I mean, I agree. I agree with her on that, you know. And then, you know, if somebody would have, you know, said, oh, well, called me ma'am, I would have got upset. I'm not a ma'am. I'm a man. Same thing with those women, you know. Don't call me a man. I'm a woman, you stupid motherfucker. Well, those are fighting words, apparently. They had enough shit from this guy, and they beat the fuck out of him. And I'm sure if Irene was with us in this vehicle, you know, taking a part of our ghetto etiquette lesson, she would agree with me. She would have probably beat that guy up pretty good. But yeah, you know, if you're going to be rude to people who are having a good time and they're paying customers and they've just blown some steam off work and they're not hurting anybody and they're just loud, you should leave them alone. And you should address them by what they are, male or female. And to me, this manager was just being a little smartass. Well, sir, you look, motherfucker, you know, I'm a woman, okay? Well, sir. Okay, motherfucker, say it one more time. Well, sir, yeah. They beat the fuck out of him, and he was a punk-ass bitch motherfucker. Straight up, flat out. And I agree one bit, you know. You're blowing off steam and people want to be like that, you know. Hey, shit happens. You have to pay the consequences. I know. I'm watching for cop cars. You don't see any, do you? Okay, we're good. Now, we'll be home in a little bit. Don't worry. We'll be back safe. Well, while we look for cops and keep our eyes peeled, we're going to play you this song.
She's so cold.
All right. As you can see, we are back now in our studio. We are safe and sound, jail free. Not a problem getting home because we know all the back ways and all the trick roads. So yeah, that last song though was Cold Love by Nightwing off their 1980 album Something in the Air. Why we play Cold Love off that album, I am not sure. But it's a good album. It's a little bit heavier than that. It was just the luck of the draw of the song, I would assume. But Cold Love from Nightwing off their 1980 album, Something in the Air. It's a good album. It's a hard metal album with some radio stuff, just like that song. It's a good album. I have it. I have in my collection as usual. You know, Johnny just has everything in his collection. Well, yeah, I do. So, you know, fuck you. Jimmy has a big collection. Irene has a big collection. Don't you guys? Yeah. We'll look at the stuff later. I get the TV set, but we'll look at the rest of the stuff later. We'll finish the show a little decorum. But yeah, I have it in my collection. It's a good album. You should try it out. It's like I said, it's got a little bit of radio, but it's also a heavy album. Also, it's got some metal stuff on there that you will enjoy. That was Cold Love off their album. Like I said, Something in the Air, 1980. Check it out. It's a good album. You know, we found something while we were there in this house. In that house. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's interesting. It's got a label on it that says GG4. So, what are we smoking? Well, apparently we'll be looking at GG4, since that's what this label says. Yeah, GG4. Well, let's look this bad boy up. See what we're going to have. Here we go. GG4, formerly known as Gorilla Glue Number 4, developed by GG Strains, is a potent hybrid strain that delivers heavy-handed euphoria and relaxation. Ooh, that sounds good. It sounds like it's going to be a good time. Leaving you with feeling glued to the couch. Its chunky, resin-covered buds. Yeah, I know. Look at the buds. Definitely. Fills the room with a pungent, earthy, sour aromas. Inherited from its parent strains, Hem Sister, Sour Dub, and Chocolate Diesel. It does have a strong smell. Perhaps you guys should light the incense first. Okay. Good job. Let's just finish this promo up here. Taking first place in both Michigan and Los Angeles 2014 Cannabis Cups, as well as the High Times Jamaican World Cup, this multiple award-winning hybrid supremacy is no longer a secret. Damn, that shit stinks. You just took it out. Damn. This multiple award-winning hybrid supremacy is no longer a secret, and consumers will search far and wide to get their hands sticky with GG4. Oh, it looks interesting. Well, let's see what the effects are real quick so we know what we're getting into. Relaxed. Makes you relaxed, of course. Most pot does. Euphoric. Happy. Uplifted. And sleepy. So this is going to be a good buzz, apparently. Its medical effects are, let's see here. It handles stress. About 100% of pot handles stress, okay? Even Reggie can handle stress. You just have to smoke a couple more bowls of it. Ooh, it handles depression, pain, insomnia, and headaches. So that might be interesting. We'll have to see if that works. Well, the biggest negative of it is just dry mouth. It says you can get dry eyes, a little anxious, paranoid, and dizzy, but most pot does that too, especially the medical shit or the kush stuff. Yeah. GG4. So, like I said, if you live in a cool state, you can go down to your dispensary and tell them, hey, the Johnny Dog Show said check out some GG4 and get yourself some. If you live in one of those stupid politician states who still want to keep it under Nazi control when it comes to smoke, like I do, and the dumbass politicians here in Indiana, well, you'll just have to find a guy who knows a guy who can make it up to Michigan or a couple other places close by who can get you GG4. Or you can just break into somebody's house who already has it, apparently. Yeah. Well, I can see they're packing stuff, getting it all ready, and while we're doing that, we're going to take some time to smoke it too, so I got to do the album track back for you. That way we can do 2 tracks off an album, get a good smoke in, and then we can go from there. I know. Well, the album we're going to look at is actually a bootleg, but you can find it. You can find it. If you really look for it, you can find it, and it's from Vandenberg. It's called Live in Japan 1984. And Vandenberg was very good live. They were loud. They were heavy. If you listen to their albums, the albums don't do any justice to what they could do live, because for some reason it seemed like back in the days they just couldn't get the guitar tone down right. So some of the stuff that sounds a little soft is not really soft. It's actually heavy when they play it live, when he played it live. But we're going to give you 2 tracks off of that, and you'll see what I mean. And you'll also understand that Adrian Vandenberg was considered the Eddie Van Halen of Japan, and also around in the Europe's version of Eddie Van Halen, because he could finger tap too, and he does a finger tap solo, and on the bootleg that's just holds up against Eddie any day of the week. And I like Eddie Van Halen, but Adrian Vandenberg has some chops too. And we're going to play you 2 tracks. First track will be Friday Night, and then the second track is Heading for the Storm. So while we play those 2 tracks and you listen to them, we're going to pack a bowl and burn something.
Thank you very much, Tokyo. Friday night! Shoot me down. I'm here in the town. I'm knowing the future's right out. Friday night, I'm gonna let it go. Yeah, dynamite, ready to explode. My boss says I'm not working on and off.
Didn't I tell you? Guy was good. Guy was very good live. That was Vandenberg, live in Japan, 1984, which is a bootleg. And like I said before, you can find it. Trust me, you can find it. If you look hard enough, and you can find it. You guys aren't stupid. I know that. You guys are tech savvy. You know the internet. You know where to look for shit. You know where to find it. That's all I'm saying. But Friday night and heading for the Storm off of the live bootleg, live in Japan, 1984. I have a lot of bootlegs. I like live music. I like listening to really good versions of bootlegs because it really shows you how good some of the bands are. Bootlegs do. Live albums they're nice. Okay, live albums are nice, but you got to take them with a grain of salt because you have to understand it is a live album, yes, but most of the time the vocals are redone because they were re-recorded in a studio, basically. So it's not really live. Sometimes it's a little cleaned up. But when you get a bootleg, you get what you got the night of the show. No cleanup, no nothing. And as you can see from there, Vandenberg was good. The guy knew his shit, and the band was tight. The music was good, and they were loud. And the guy was a talented fucking guitarist, He's played in bands like, White Snake, and, we can go on. But everybody knows who Adrian Vandenberg is. And if you don't, look him up. Get some of his albums, and you'll find out the guy was really super talented. But get it, find it, you can get it, you know how to do it. So, check it out. It's worth it. And it's worth the search. So while you search for that, before you search for that, we're going to kick out the last news of the day.
Police say a 19-year-old Indiana man took a cab to and from a bank robbery, and that he paid the driver with some of his stolen cash. He was arrested less than an hour after his robbery of a Fifth Third Bank in Evansville. The Evansville Courier and Press reports that he reportedly passed a teller a note demanding money, but that he didn't show a weapon. The man is being held at the county jail on preliminary charges of robbery and possession of drug paraphernalia. It takes a certain type of person to rob a bank. Usually, a lot of planning had to be done. Things like knowing when there'll be a time when the least amount of customers are in the bank. Will the right manager be there that can open the safe? What kind of safe am I dealing with? Is it a time lock safe? Or a regular one? What are the police patrol patterns around this bank? How much time do I have to get in and get out? What are my street routes out of the area? And so on, and so on. It seems to me, this young man didn't think things through. Taking a fucking taxi cab to a bank robbery is absolutely stupid. If you can't take a stolen, nondescript vehicle to the bank, why bother? You can't rob a bank without wheels. Tipping the cab driver isn't going to help. I mean, really, what the fuck? Does this fucking bloke even watch crime TV? Hell, crime TV can sometimes give you good tips on how not to fuck up. Trust old Irene when she says this. Young man, robbing banks while taking a bus, or even a fucking taxi, to and from the incident, will only land you in jail. You're not built for that. You're too stupid to rob banks, like that other young man, who was too stupid to shoplift for a stupid bucket list. Get out of the crime business while you still can. Get a job, become some YouTube celebrity, or something. Settle down, get a wife, or whatever, who knows better than you, and can keep your shit out of doing stupid shit that'll land your dumbass in the boneyard, or jail. This is your chance to become a proper citizen. Crime isn't for you. Leave that shit to the pros, like me and some of my sisters, in the ghetto. Who plan well, know how not to fuck it up, and enjoy our crime that pays. Now back to our host, who never gets caught up in crime, because he's so good, it makes me wanna puke. Johnny Dogs.
Right. I'm so good, I'll make you puke. But I'll also break into your house, take your weed, your TV set, and other shit, and things like that. No, I kid. Maybe. You never know. But, yeah, I'm not going to rob a bank, and I'm not going to take a cab. I'd rather rob somebody's house and when they're on vacation and, oh wait, we already covered that, never mind. But yeah, if you're gonna rob a bank, trick is to probably get some kind of vehicle to make your getaway that's not a taxi cab, Uber, a bus, Lyft, whatever driving service you can get. Because one, they track those vehicles. Even if you bribe the driver, they still know, what's going on with the vehicle. So, yeah. Yeah, robbing banks is probably not for this kid, though. Not very thought out. Poorly planned, poorly executed. The young kids nowadays, taking a cab to rob a bank. I mean, it pretty much is self-explanatory. I don't really have to tell you how stupid it is because, if you think that taking a cab, a bus, or Uber, or so forth, to a bank robbery is a smart idea, you probably shouldn't get into crime. You probably shouldn't deal with crime. You should probably come, like, something else. Perhaps a guy that works at a grocery store or Walmart or works on cars or something of that nature, but definitely not crime because, you're just going to do time because you're stupid, and then every criminal in there is going to laugh at you because you're stupid, and every other cop is going to laugh at you because you're stupid. Trust me. When you go to jail, I'm sure it's cool to be a bank robber. They used to say, you read about, mafia books and stuff like that, or guys who witnessed bank robbers are famous. They get famous. But if you're a bank robber and you got busted because you took a cab to the bank, yeah, I don't think you're going to be popular in that way. I think, everybody's going to laugh their ass out at you. The professional bank robbers who know how to do the shit for real. The cops, because you're that stupid. The judge, because you're that stupid. I mean, the judge would probably think it's so funny he'd probably tack more time on. Because, he probably thinks that, you'll learn a lesson, which, yeah. So, yeah. If you think that if that's a smart idea, yeah, I'm going to tell you now it's not. Don't do it. Or at least don't take a bus, taxi, or anything else like that. Find a vehicle, And apparently, Irene over here already gave you some advice on that. So, yeah, But like I already told you, we're pretty classless and lowbrow here. So, we don't worry about opinions. So, yeah. Yeah. So while some of you people out there revise your bank robbing plans, we're going to play this one last tune.
This next song I'd like to do for you is going to be on the second album. It's a song called Wrathchild. Christ, didn't expect this reaction. Oh, what? Fucking amazing. Oh.
All right. That was Wrathchild by Iron Maiden, live in London, 1980, which is also a bootleg. Features Paul Di'Anno, but yes, it's a bootleg. It's live in London. It was recorded in 1980. It's decent quality for 1980, but it does feature Paul Di'Anno before he got booted from the band. Live in London is actually a good bootleg. You can find it out there. It's out there. I know you guys know where to get it. If you really want to look, you know where to find it. But it's a good bootleg. It's one of the bootlegs out there that has Paul Di'Anno when he was performing with the boys before they dumped him for Bruce Dickinson and then went on to worldwide fame. I'm sure Paul Di'Anno still gets a good, portion of royalties for the first two albums, maybe $500 or so, maybe $350. I don't know how that shit works out, but the boys did well with Bruce, and then they did well with Blaze Bayley. I don't care what anybody says. If you don't like Blaze Bayley's Iron Maiden stuff, fuck you too. And they did well with Di'Anno, but the Maiden years with Bruce Dickinson are the best. They just click with him better. Di'Anno, well, if you've seen Di'Anno lately in the present, well, it hasn't been pretty. That's all we'll say about Paul. Blaze has been doing very well since Maiden. His last two albums are good albums, great albums, good albums for the style that Blaze does. It's something you should get into because they're concept albums. Yeah. And he's got the third of them coming out, I think. But this is not about Blaze at the moment. This is about Paul Di'Anno and Iron Maiden from 1980. So, Wrathchild, off their bootleg live in London, 1980 from Iron Maiden. Check it out. You can find it and enjoy it. Especially if you're a Maiden fan, you don't have it, you should have it. And if you have it and your friends don't have it, you should make fun of your friends, especially if they're Maiden fans who don't have it, so that they will get it. Well, that's enough mistress. That's enough mischief from us for one day. Apparently, we've done enough damage out there to the violent east side of Indiana and the unguarded north side of Indiana. But, yeah. So, we'd like to thank you for listening or watching. If you're watching it on YouTube, of course. I'd like to thank Jimmy and Irene for all the work they do. I'd like to thank myself for all the hard work I do, because I'm just that kind of an asshole. If you want to email the show, just dogs, DOGGS, 1471 at gmail.com. You never know, we might actually read it. Maybe. Depends. You can also check us out on Twitter. We usually post a lot of concert videos, music video shit. Same thing on YouTube or Facebook too. We're on YouTube also. So if you're on YouTube watching it and you want to subscribe, you can subscribe, because apparently that's something that a lot of YouTubers do. If you like the audio, maybe to play for later for shits and giggles or just something to listen to later, you can find us at podomatic.com. You can download if you like, maybe listen to later, like I said, no big deal. Again, we're on YouTube. You can subscribe, and we're on podomatic.com. If you'd like to download it or just listen to there, just to the audio. It's up to you. Pick your poison. So, we're going to give you some advice. Too much crazy is a bad thing. But a little crazy? Well, that goes a long way. For Jimmy Dogs, Irene Maiden, I'm Johnny Dogs, and we are the fuck out of here.